What's going on? My name is AJ Eckstein. I'm the founder and CEO of Creator Match, and this is Creator Etiquette.
What if the platform that you've been ignoring could change your business faster than anything else? I have AJ Eckstein here to tell you about how he left his consulting job and bet on LinkedIn. And what happened next? Well, you have to listen to this whole episode to find out. AJ Eckstein left a Fortune 500 consulting gig to bet on himself and build Creator Match, one of the largest B2B influencer marketing agencies. In this episode, you'll hear more about what it takes to actually build a business and not just leave a corporate job. This is a playbook that you need to hear if you want to be taken more seriously in professional spaces. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Creator Etiquette. This is a really special one because I not only am interviewing a friend of mine, he's also an incredible founder. I can't wait for you guys to learn everything about AJ Eckstein and his company, Creator Match. Hello, AJ, and welcome to Creator Etiquette. I'm so excited to have you here. Before we get into it, can you just tell us what has changed about Creator Match? Because I know Creator Match to be a B2B influencer marketing company specifically for LinkedIn content creators. We were just chatting before the show started. Tell me a little bit more.
First off, it's so nice to be here. Thanks so much for having us. We are literally in Miami Beach right now. It is so hot outside, so it's nice to be inside with some AC.
Yes, it is.
So Creator Match started as a LinkedIn creator marketing agency with the goal to pay out this underserved creator community of B2B creators. We're the first agency to pay out over $1 million to these creators, who obviously being one of the many creators that we've worked with, have the pleasure to help monetize. And the brands have asked for more. They realize that your channel strategy is multi-channel, and creators don't just live on one channel. You're not just a LinkedIn creator, you might be a lifestyle creator that happens to be on multiple channels. So for us, we said, hey, well, what do you want us to do? And they said, hey, well, here's kind of the list of things we want. So how we've been able to really expand our capabilities as an agency is just listen and essentially solve the pain points. So now we build creator programs for the fastest growing tech brands in the world. That could be any channel. It could be LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, newsletter. It could be paid media. It could be brand trips and IRL. We're obviously very bullish about IRL. I could talk more about that today. It could be, really anything along those lines. So it's really full stack creator marketing for tech brands.
I love that. And yes, guys, I'm a fan of Creator Match. They have paid me a lot of money for some really cool brands, including Anthropic. Very hot right now, but I worked with them on their Artifacts launch, literally in I think summer 2025. So that was almost a year ago, and it's changed a lot. Everybody's Claude Maxing now. It's like a different world we're in. But just to get into it, I want to set the stage for everybody because we're 27, and there are sometimes stigmas around being a young entrepreneur. We both went to USC, so fight on to any Trojans. But tell me about your COVID arc, because you were the corporate track and you left. You took that big leap, and so many Gen Zers have been watching this on their phones the past 5-6 years or so since the pandemic started. They graduated remotely, then after that they started their job remotely or not. Then they saw everybody around them posting on social media, becoming an influencer. Tell me about that leap that happened for you, and also how attainable or not attainable that risk is.
COVID was such a crazy time, I think, for everybody. And I know when I was in the mix of the pandemic, I really wanted to look back and say, I don't know how long this is going to take, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to look back and say I'm really going to maximize this free time, because everyone had so much free time during this period. So we were both 2020 grads. We were the first college graduation class to graduate during a global pandemic.
Lucky us.
Our graduation essentially ceremony was on Zoom, not very eventful, not very fun. Couldn't even throw our caps unless it was inside. And my job, which was at Accenture, was a management consulting job, was very coveted to get, was in San Francisco. I got a 6-month pushback in terms of my start date. I never had to move to San Francisco, so I was living at home for an extra 2 years. I had so much free time. And it was just a very different world. Consulting, you're supposed to travel every week. I really never traveled. So I was at Accenture for 3 years, and during that time, I had all this free time. I had 6 months before I started. I was at my post-grad trip canceled to Bali. I was going to backpack Southeast Asia. So many things changed. One of the things that I did is during this free period, I started career coaching to help others break into consulting and banking, these very coveted industries. And then I also started a podcast called The Final Round, where I interviewed recruiters to help job seekers advance past the final round interview. And I felt very grateful to sell my job. Everyone was getting laid off left and right. And during this time, where do job seekers live? They live on LinkedIn. So I would post all of my recruiting podcast content on LinkedIn.
I remember the red background, right?
Exactly. It's me. We can pop up an overlay, but it's basically me in a suit and tie with a red background and try to make recruiting fun because recruiting is a little bit boring, to be honest with you. So I built this audience on LinkedIn and I started meeting these amazing people and got to the point where I was meeting like the Mr. Beast level creators on LinkedIn. Hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of impressions per post. And asking about monetization, they've never made $1 on the platform. And I'm like, this is insane. So during my time at Accenture, I always had this idea of what could I do around this world. So I was building an audience and I was able to get it to 10, 20, 30, now 55,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I'm like, there has to be something to solve here where there's so much pain in this creator community. And obviously at the time, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, still don't know what I'm doing, but then we eventually launched Creator Match. And I had enough traction to where I told my manager, said, look, I want to take a small leave of absence. I've saved up about 6 weeks of PTO. I'm going to take a month off. I was in between consulting projects, and I'm going to go shoot my shot in the startup world. And if I get enough momentum and traction, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
And he was very kind and amazing manager. So you know what? Go for it. Go shoot your shot. Had enough traction. Still had no idea what I was doing. Ended up quitting, and then I was off to the races. And that was about 2 years ago. And now we're about to hit 2 years in business.
So in terms of business, just for a second, in case anybody is in a corporate job and they're looking to leave, what were the steps that you did before? Like you're talking about, you did this leap, you saved six weeks of PTO, but maybe they're not able to do that, or maybe they're already making money, maybe on Instagram. Like what kind of business development do they need to think about before they take that leap?
So I will say that as much of, and if you listen to any of my content on IG, on LinkedIn, on these podcasts, it sounds like I tell everyone you should quit everything you're doing and become a founder, and actually that's not what I'm trying to.
I agree with that. I tell every creator who comes to me and says, I want to quit my job to be a full-time creator, I said, how much calculated risk have you thought through, and like how comfortable are you being financially insecure?
Totally, and it's not even the financial aspect of it. I mean, just the stress, the pressure. It goes from content creation as a creative muscle to content creation as a career. Very different, because then it's like you have to kind of take some of the brand deals that you didn't want to take originally, because now you have to make, pay rent and get food on the table. So I do think that first off, you don't need to jump. Like, don't jump because everyone is just saying that's the cool thing to do. Everyone says you own your schedule, but your schedule is just you work 15-hour days. Like it's literally, I looked at my screen time the other day that's connected to my phone and my laptop. It was 14 and a half hours a day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's mental.
Yeah.
That being said, if you are serious about, hey, this is not the right path, I would first say, is there another job that's better? Before just saying, hey, I'm going to go off on my own. You have so much free time when you have a 9 to 5. So there's nights, there's weekends, there's holidays. I remember the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas/New Year's, it's very slow, or basically nobody works. Right? So during that time, and you're still working and kind of going through the motions, checking emails, Slacks, whatever, go build whatever you want to build on the side, get enough momentum, enough traction, and then have that serious question of, should I jump or not? And that's kind of what I was doing. And then when I jumped, it was very calculated. I always give the example where you shouldn't jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yeah. You
have to almost build that safety net so when you jump, it's not as risky to jump and kind of hit the floor.
I understand that deeply, but still, nobody seems to want to listen when you tell them that advice, because it's not, like you said, the advice just telling them to go and do it because it looks easy. And something that I always remind the people asking on the other side is that it's our job to make it look easy. Totally. Like, it's our full-time job. When people say, oh my gosh, content is so effortless for you, one, I've been doing it for over 10 years. Two, I've been doing it full-time for almost now 6.5 years. And three, it's literally my job. If I don't post content as a creator, I don't get brand deals. If I don't get brand deals, that means my content's not visible. If my content's not visible, that means I won't get a speaking op. That means so on and so forth. So can you talk a little bit more about being visible, and then staying consistent with your content on LinkedIn, and then we can talk about other platforms?
I will say that visibility is more important than ability. And I know that sounds so crazy, but at the end of the day, it's never the person that is the most qualified that gets the role. It's really the person that is most visible. And as simple as that. So if you are, let's say, the best storyteller in the world, but you post once a year, yes, maybe that one post goes crazy viral, but like the other 364 days, I didn't see it, versus the creator that's posting constantly. And I'm not saying that you need to have volume over quality. What I am saying is that you need to show up. Like, we're at Possible Miami right now, and you are showing up. There's not that many creators here, which is pretty funny. but I guarantee you that the creators here going to the brands and going to their booths and activations have a higher chance of getting a brand deal than a quote unquote better creator with better stats and better content and audience size that was just on social that happens to get come across basically by these brands. So I think that's really in anything like outside just even content creation is you really have to focus on being visible. So for me, like when I post on LinkedIn and I build our business creator match in public, it's less of I'm trying to go viral, trying to get brand deals, and more so I want to stay visible to my potential audience that I could sell to, like a brand, which is a client, to a creator that may want to work with us and join our network to get essentially monetized, or to potential talent that wants to join our team. A lot of people say, hey, I want to get that green puzzle piece on LinkedIn, I want to join your team, I saw your offsite content at South by Southwest Austin, and so on and so forth. So I think just everyone needs to become more visible. And if you're someone who doesn't like to be on camera, I would really ask yourself if this is the right career, because you have to go out of your way to be always top of mind. So when, let's say, Anthropic or XYZ brand comes up, who are those first 5 creators that I think of? Because I just saw your content, I just saw you in person, and you're constantly really building that relationship.
Yeah. Talk to me more about what it means to build a relationship with a creator, because there are creators that obviously do it right and they get booked over and over again, and then there's creators that maybe you work with and then you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to work with them again, even if their analytics are good, even if they have a huge platform. Can you talk to me a little bit about that, and then also add in, we could do creators first and then talk more about the relationships you build with brands, how, as a founder showing up at a place like Possible, you could just go out there and all of a sudden you have the people at Pinterest and at Reddit, and you can just talk everybody up about what you do.
100%. So I think for creators, what's so important is it's not just your analytics. And it's the same thing like if you are recruiting for a job, like it's not just the interview, it's every little touch point. It's how responsive you are in emails, it's how good your quality work is, it's how nice you are, how kind you are. People want to work with people that they like and that they enjoy. And it really is as simple like that at the end of the day. So for a creator, if you're good to us, then we'll be good to you. And it's outside just sheer performance. So like if the content quality is strong, if you were like, hey, I know that you wanted this, but I'm gonna go above and beyond, and I know this wasn't part of the contract, but I'm gonna just like add this little cherry on top and do this. All those things are written down essentially and shared with our brand partners and shared with our team. And like we wanna, I'm not saying we wanna work the least, but why would we wanna work extra and have to, I just made this post recently where I'm like, I shouldn't have to email you 5 times, text you 20 times, call you, FaceTime you, fly out to you to knock on your door to ask you to send us an invoice to get you paid. Versus the creators that like just send it basically.
Right.
So like if you really are a good partner across all those different facets, and ask yourself, am I easy to work with? If you're easy to work with, brands will want to work with you again, agencies will want to source you, and it goes so much farther than just the metrics and the actual performance of the content.
Can you give me a concrete example of like a standout creator? You don't have to name them, but just like an experience you had where you were like, wow. And I know you're not necessarily the one doing it since you are running a company, but tell me if you have something that comes to mind.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I don't know if this is a secret, but every brand / agency will, yes, they have a large talent pool, but we have a slice of our talent pool called our preferential creator network, where these are the creators that we can quick flip content. So I can literally text them and say, hey, I'm in a jam, maybe another creator backed out, or something happened where I need a favor, and can you essentially help me solve this favor? And it might be, hey, here's X thousand dollars. It's crazy, the brand, I know it's Monday, the brand wants content to go live Wednesday. Like any chance that you can kind of swap your inventory for ads and sponsorships, move it to next week, and then slot us in there. And the brand's happy with us, and then we can continue to go back to that creator or creators. So if you can be that creator that is like super fast, especially in the tech world, these brands move incredibly fast. Everything we do now is a quick flip. And the timelines for whatever it used to be of, I'm a traditional influence marketing agency, and I work with one brand that has one launch a year. Now it's these brands have one launch a week. So it is moving so fast, and speed is of the essence in our new era, in this AI era. So those creators I think that I'm thinking of is like, who should I call to quick flip? And ask yourself how you get in that preferential network.
I love that. And what about the whole creator agent management relationship with Creator Match? Because at that point, a creator goes from maybe they started working with your team one-on-one and sending emails, and then one day they get an agent, and then from there the agent does it. Do you feel like their secret sauce as a creator is ever lost in translation that makes it more difficult to rebook them?
So great question. I will say that I used to be very anti-talent manager, and I literally would do everything that I can to not work with a talent manager. I will say now I've met some incredible talent agencies, but typically they're not your big talent agencies.
Yeah.
They are, I would say the roster is anywhere from 5 to 50, maybe 5 to 100. Still relatively small, boutique, usually targeted at, it's a YouTube talent agency repping finance creators, or it's a B2B talent agency, something very specific, very niche. I know who to tap for these different briefs that we get in from these brand campaigns. But at the end of the day, you could be the best creator, but if your agent is not matching that speed, I'm not gonna work with you.
Yeah.
It's like we will literally, if we have these quick flip campaigns coming from these billion-dollar tech brands and they need content live in 7 days, there's agencies I will never reach out to because I know that they won't even respond in 7 days. Versus other agents where I can literally call after hours and say, hey, I can send you $100,000 to your talent today,
Yeah.
but you need to work this weekend. Like, do you want it essentially? So I think if you're a creator, make sure if you are joining a talent roster, that you are joining a roster that can match the speed that these brands and agencies need in your industry.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. A quote that my dad always says that literally sticks with me every day is people love happy, well-adjusted people. And I wish more people in the creator world on the creator side understood that as it pertains to working with branding and influencer marketing agency. Tell me more about how Creator Match has changed. You said there were some exciting updates I need to know.
So I think that everyone, especially early on, wants to, and I'll give this, and I think this is one of my favorite analogies, and I want to say I coined this. Everyone wants to own the swimming pool.
Yes.
But to be really good, you need to own the swim lane. So like an example, let's say in this example of swimming, is there's never really going to be one swimmer that is the best at every swim stroke.
It's true.
They're the best at freestyle in the X meters, and they're like in one swim lane. So I think early on for us, it was very easy to say we wanted to do everything. But the problem with you do everything, you actually do nothing.
Yep.
And I think there's these massive agencies that do a little bit of everything. They're on the talent side, they're on the brand side, they buy tech companies, they do this, they do that. But the challenge is like you're not them. They have thousands of employees, and maybe they're public, they raise millions of dollars. So what we nailed early on was really niche pain point, and to solve it was LinkedIn creator marketing. Now as we build creator programs for tech brands, and especially the fastest growing tech brands, which is AI, B2B, and SaaS, how we help them is full stack creator marketing. So it's all short form channels, long form channels like YouTube, paid media, brand trips and IRL, and then influencer gifting. Right? So I think for that, you really need to ask yourself, what is your unique selling point?
Yeah.
And then for us now, we're able to jump to the next echelon of an agency because we've got to the point where we have 30 plus people on the team. We have multiple brands, we paid out multi-million dollars in creator payments, and now we're able to kind of go to that next level.
Yeah.
And I mean, early on, we were fighting for scraps. I'm talking $1,000 campaigns, including our agency fee, which is like insane. And then now we're at the point where like most of the campaigns we're doing are 6 to 7 figures and like really able to move the needle and drive value for these creators and brands.
That's amazing. Tell me more about the IRL stuff. I had so much FOMO for the trip in Zion with Zapier. I wanted to go really, really badly. But again, it's kind of like, well, Gigi, what would you do with that? And something I always think about with brand trips or with a unique pitch as a creator is like, yeah, let's actually have a creative brainstorm, or just like be like, hey, we do have this trip. Maybe it would be kind of a strange fit. I'm not your core demographic, but I have a really cool idea. Let me pitch it to you. Let me like come and be that traditional like influencer in the lifestyle space for you, but translate what you're doing to that lifestyle audience who is building a business. So, okay, before I go on a tangent, tell me about that trip, because again, like the pictures, I'm like seeing it in my mind. You guys, I'll put it behind up here.
So we helped Zapier, which is a massive AI orchestration platform, run their first ever B2B IRL creator trip. And it was honestly not just their first, but kind of like the industry's first moment into how did they take what Poppy does with Alex Earl at Coachella and then translate that to the tech B2B or AI world. So we helped essentially run the strategy and kind of the creator sourcing with getting 30 AI creators to come out to the desert in Zion National Park in Utah. And we stayed in Airstreams in Utah. We essentially had an AI hackathon. Their entire C-suite was there. We had content days where we can just film all of this collab content. And it was a way to just sit there for 3 days actually learn about how to use these tools, because this world of AI is so noisy. Every day there's a new funding round, there's a new feature launched, like it's moving so fast. So to get the biggest creators, the loudest voices in your space, undivided attention for 3 days, and then all you have to give in return is like this amazing experience. The content that came out of that, the experience, the relationships that were built, I mean, it's still compounding today.
Yeah.
I think more brands that are not your traditional CPG brands that are doing Coachella activations, so ask yourself how you can get your community in person. It can be as simple as an IRL dinner, and a great strategy, you can steal this, is find one of the loudest voices in your space that's a creator, have them, let's say it's you, Gigi, have them be the host of a roundtable, and then you are the partner of the roundtable, but you ask Gigi, hey, since you're the most influential voice, you help curate the attendee list.
Yeah.
And I'm just here as a partner. So it's like Gigi's Creator Roundtable in partnership with Creator Match. You own the 10 or 15 person attendee list, and then we're there as partners. And that's like a really easy, low effort, low lift, low cost activation. Then you can go broader, as in like the big trips and IRL brand moments.
So can we do that?
We can. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We've got to do it.
This episode is brought to you by Adobe Acrobat. And if you're a creator chasing real brand partnerships, you know the work does not start in the DMs. It always starts with your deliverables, from your media kit to your rate card, and of course, the pitch deck that decides whether or not a brand sees you as a hobbyist or a professional. Adobe Acrobat lets you convert almost anything from docs to slide decks, from web links, and even a photo of your notes into a clean, polished PDF in literally seconds, with no weird formatting and no random files that open sideways on a brand manager's laptop. I personally think it is really awesome because the documents start looking like you actually mean business. Because in the creator economy, how you package your work is truly a big part of the work. So give Adobe Acrobat a try today and start sending some pitches that will actually get opened and get you rebooked. Something that's been really important to me lately has been looking at the data of what actually works when I am working with a brand. And a tool that I've been using and I absolutely love has actually been Adobe Acrobat. A lot of you know I have worked with them before, but aside from that, it just makes my life so much easier when it comes to summarizing my campaigns and making sure that everything I am doing with a brand lives in one easy, accessible space. For example, if I'm doing a brand partnership with a company, what I will do is I will preload in the brief that the brand sends me, the contracts that we sign, along with my scripting documents. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually go into the AI assistant mode and I will start typing in and ask it, based on what you know about me and the context about my content as Gigi Robinson, what would be a fun angle to take here? And I will say, usually I come in with a lot of high-level ideas, but when I want to get much more granular, I chat with the AI assistant to pull insights from the actual briefs that are inside of the PDF space, which it will cite as a source. And I love that because I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to avoid revisions, a lot of back and forth. And I have found PDF spaces in the AI assistant to be the ultimate hack when it comes to this. Then from there, I will make my script and I will often save that as a note or I will save it as a new PDF and then add it to the space from my notes. Then brands can go in and they can comment directly on it inside of the Acrobat PDF space. And then from there, we start our actual content creation process where I can start filming the video or creating the actual piece of content. And then afterwards, I will drop in my analytics to create a full report of each campaign. Make sure you all go try out Adobe Acrobat because let me just tell you, it is my new favorite tool.
Something else I want to talk about is this drive, this ambition. You're achieving all these benchmarks with your agency, you're growing and scaling. Can you talk to me more about the mindset? Because I feel like there's two spectrums of Gen Z. There's the side that does not want to do anything. Also, we're elders in the space, guys. We are 27, turning 28 this year. At least for me, like everybody's always like, oh my God, how do you stay so confident? How do you stay so excited? How do you not freak the flip out when you have something like a late payment? How do you plan for all these things? How do you have the mental tenacity to get through that? And we are Gen Z, right? Gen Z is known as the snowflake generation. Talk to me about your mindset in building this company because this is the conversation that more Gen Zers need to hear. If they're not hearing about mindset and they're not learning about mindset from their peers, how else are they gonna be able to build a business of their own? How are they gonna be able to work at a company and grow professionally?
I love this question. And I also think that, if you were to ask me, like, what is some founder advice? I actually would start with, it sounds like the fluffier advice, but if you don't have the right mindset going into being a founder, you can have every, tactical playbook that exists and you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
So I would actually break it into two parts. The first one is you have to, I think, really develop yourself. I've learned and developed so much as a human being by being a founder, because every day there's a crash out, every day there's a fire, every day there's crap break. I mean, it is one of the most, and if not the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. And now it's very easy when it was just myself, because worst comes to worst, I have to go back home, live at home, couch surf, do whatever. But now there's 30 plus people on the team, and like there's other lives at stake, and their lives of their families are at stake as well. And then people are on, health insurance and all these other things as well, which is a lot of pressure. So for me, I really have found a nice outlet in fitness where I would run marathons and ultra marathons, like really try to almost like bulletproof your brain, where every day you know that you're gonna get punched 5 to 10 times, but it's almost like that's just status quo.
Totally.
So the first one is like just get ready to be really leveled up as a person, and that's the first part. The second part is building this community around you. And I call it like your corner. So if you're in a boxing match, it's not just being the best boxer, like you have to do your own part to make sure you're training for the match, but also that your corner is everything. So your corner could be making sure your family understands. Like I was telling my family, like, hey, if I don't respond in a few hours, like as a heads up, like I'm just slammed and I'm busy. It could be people that you live with. So like it could be a significant other, or it could be a roommate. For me, I live with a founder right now. We work 24/7. I have a video of Saturday night where I'm working in my room and he's ripping Claude Code in the balcony, and it was fantastic. It was like 11 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., whatever it was, and like that vicinity and that proximity is everything. And then also your team. So it's not just a one-person company. I think, some of the best team members that we've helped really recruit, hire, and retain. Shout out to Tara, our COO, who's really our right-hand person. And a lot of this would not be possible without people like that.
Yeah.
So focus on yourself first, and then build that team around you to survive. It's essentially war every day.
Yeah.
Whether people want to dance around that or not, like it is so challenging, and really only the best and strongest will stay alive.
I agree. Something I always try to reframe when I am dealing with a fire, I just tell myself it's a fun side quest for the day, and you go out and you do it. Some quests are more challenging than others, but I'm just try to make it more fun, because at the end of the day, like, yes, it's business, but it's not that deep. Like, you're gonna get through it, and you're gonna wake up tomorrow, hopefully, and be able to just continue being amazing and doing what you're doing.
Also add that, we look for people that when they see chaos, there's two types of people. They either run from it or they run to it. I think that our team, and especially I would say myself, does better in chaos. I seek chaos. On days that are not chaotic and there's no fires, it's almost like, wait, what's wrong? So your status quo almost levels up to the point of it's so chaotic. And as I always say, like my life is holding the mug saying everything's fine and there's a fire behind you.
Yeah.
Like behind you have the dumpster kind of flooding down the river. So it's chaotic. And you have to understand, like, chaos is not a bad thing, and every fire is just a problem to solve. So if you think about it that way, it's I'm just a problem solver, and every day there's new things being thrown at me. Don't get scared, don't try to fight away from it, but just really try to tackle it head on.
It's the best skill to have. So tell me about the jump from the first hire to now a 30-person team. That's incredible.
I went to undergraduate business school at USC, and nothing prepares you for the world of entrepreneurship. And I think the people element of the business is by far the hardest to scale. It sounds like, oh, well, when you're busy and you have the money, hire another person, and then just continue to do that process back and forth. Every new person adds more complexity.
Yeah.
I always gave the joke where I'm like, oh, well, I'm HR, nothing can go wrong. And then now we actually had to bring on HR because there's so many people on our team now. We have to add health insurance, and every employee has to be registered in the different states and tax laws and all these crazy things that above my pay grade. I will say though that you have to ask yourself, are you running a lifestyle business as a one person show, or a business that is going to grow and potentially raise money and potentially sell? There's not one right or wrong answer, because you can be really successful in both. For me, I really wanted to swing for the fences, and I'm like, if I'm gonna do this and it's already this hard, why not go for an even bigger payoff down the road? So it's not easy, and every day you're asking yourself, what can I do on behalf of my team? Can I do more one-on-ones? I do more training, more onboarding? The hardest thing is like keeping them in a good spot while also flying this plane that you're also building as you're flying it. And it's always a constant battle between the two. So it's not easy, it's not for the faint at heart, but having a team is incredible, learning how to delegate and how to lead and manage people, and then you teach them how to manage their own people, and it's this beautiful ripple effect that done right gives you the biggest unlock for any business.
Yeah. I love what you said about building a lifestyle business or building a business to sell and acquire, because I have always thought about my lifestyle business as a business that could potentially either be an asset, or the lifestyle business is so strong that I'm able to use it to fund a business that I could then hopefully sell one day. Can you talk to me a little bit about your LinkedIn learning and building your personal brand so that you had all the success and visibility as you built Creator Match?
I think today in 2026, if you don't have a personal brand as a founder or a creator, I think you just will lose.
Yeah.
Or at least you will get beaten out by someone who does.
And Ken, before we move on, personal brand, like just quick, explain that to people. I know everybody says you should have it, like, is it necessary to get the headshot? Is it necessary to get the typography done? What are the things that somebody must have, and what are the things that they don't need to have if they're building a business?
I mean, I don't think there's necessarily like you have to have these 10 things to, okay, you checked off personal brand. I would just say when you're in a room, do people know who you are? Or if they search you online, or whether it's on Chat, Claude, or Google, what's gonna come up?
Right.
So like for me, the amount of things that I've done over the last few years, you search my name and you see Fast Company will populate. My LinkedIn, my Instagram, my YouTube, Creator Match, all the articles that I've been on, the podcast, the news features, like everything will pop up. That is a personal brand. And yes, to me, LinkedIn's probably the most important out of all of those. But also if you're an Instagram creator, you don't need a LinkedIn profile. So I'm not gonna say that you need one or the other, but just in general, when I search you or I think of your name, like what comes up, and you have a brand behind that.
Yeah.
So what I did is like, I gave before I ever asked for anything. And that's how you have to think about your brand as well. So like I gave in the sense that I had a free podcast helping job seekers. People were starting to follow me for my career recruiting content. And over time was growing 10, 20, 30, 40 plus thousand followers on LinkedIn. And then when ready, I would now build Creator Match in public because I saw these big pain points. So you never want to just ask your audience for something on day one, but help them first before asking or ever selling them anything. And the crazy thing is, we've been, and again, I'm going to put air quotes, successful, because I think success is very subjective on how you define it. I still think we're not successful because there's so much more we want to grow. There's always this goalpost that's never ending. There's always these mountains that will never stop growing in size. But I think for us, we've been successful just because of starting out with my personal brand. And like I call it founder-led content. So it's outbound content, inbound DMs. So I would post about what we're doing, brands would reach out and book calls with us.
Yeah.
And as simple as that, we never spent $1 on paid media, on marketing, on ads, and that just compounded down to a beautiful business.
My next question is specific to the LinkedIn Creator Program, LinkedIn Thought Leader Ads, and BrandLink. Tell the people what they need to know about all of those, and what the heck just came out of my mouth. What do all of those things mean for creators?
Yeah, so I will also say that you should not create content with the sole goal to monetize, because it's just, you might as well just be like a creator that sends videos to a brand for ads, which is also fine. You can be very successful doing that as well. But LinkedIn is now starting to roll out an entire creator monetization team, and I think over the next year, a lot of new programs will launch. So one of the first ones that they did was LinkedIn Learning. I'm very fortunate to be one of the youngest LinkedIn Learning instructors on the platform. I've launched 3 courses totaling over 200,000 learners. They flew me out to the Santa Barbara office. It was like an entire Disney style studio set. We had a director, we had a filmmaker, filmed an entire course, and it's very educational. So it's not like your crypto type courses. It's very educational, it's very professional, it's very hard and very difficult to get asked to do these. So that was like the first bucket. Now they're rolling out BrandLink, where basically they could work with brands. You can monetize some of your video content. They're now rolling out a creator marketplace as well. So there's a lot coming down the pipeline. And instead of trying to figure out what to do, I would just focus on creating content. You still need a brand, you still need a following, you still need good content. And I would start with, I think LinkedIn's such a great place. And there's still such a massive amount of opportunity, because the stat goes that of the 1 billion users, only 1% of people post consistently. So if you're just a little bit more consistent than the next person, you're now in the top percentile.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is wide open compared to the other platforms where it's so saturated.
And when you guys look for creators that are on LinkedIn, are you also looking at how they show up and how their personal brand shows up across other platforms in a Google search like we just mentioned?
I would say to an extent. I mean, we definitely do vetting with creators. If we're only paying you for LinkedIn content, I probably don't care as much if you're active on or not on other channels, unless like there's some things as in like the brand flag that, ooh, he or she's getting into some risky territory, and we try to stay away from anything political, anything that's gonna hurt this brand's reputation. But outside that, you know, like for instance, I'm on Twitter, but I think I have like one follower there because I never post on it. I'm not very active on it. But on LinkedIn, obviously very active. So it's probably just focus on the channels that you are partnering with the brand on.
Okay, I have about 2 or 3 more questions for you. This next question relates to the speaking world, because I know you yourself have done a lot of public speaking. Do you ever foresee a world where you're designing creator programs where speaking engagement is actually a part of that, meaning a creator is giving a keynote at a big conference and maybe the partner is actually the brand that they're doing for a launch, and they're using the product in their keynote, very sprinkled in, very organic, but not necessarily like, this is sponsored by, I mean, yes, they would have to disclose it, of course, but not overtly a product demo from somebody on the product team, but like an actual real life use case. Do you think that that's coming?
So I think yes, but it's really important to note, so we are a brand side agency, not a talent agency.
Right.
So what we would do is we would contract with the brand to say, hey, we're gonna run the programming for this event or conference.
Right.
And then in turn say, okay, well, of the creators that we've worked with or we haven't worked with yet, who should we pull in to not only speak on stage and keynote, but create content and then put paid media behind their content and so forth. So we're doing a lot more of these custom packages, because I think that is the true value of a brand side agency, is we can get custom versus these creator marketplaces, which are fine. It's very cookie cutter. It's like, I pay you X to get Y. For us, it's so many aspects of these types of campaigns: IRL, URL, paid media, multi-channel, gifting, trips, everything. So right now we actually have a proposal out for a brand, and you know, if hopefully, knock on, I don't know if there's any wood here, we'll knock on that for a second, but if we win it, there will be an aspect where creators will be speaking and creating content in person. So, you know, I think as a creator, like, don't be afraid to pitch unique concepts to brands and show them that you really understand their world, whether it's IRL or URL.
What is the biggest shift that creators have to make to operate like a business and not just an influencer?
I heard this great quote from one of the best creators that we work with, Will McTighe, so shout out Will. We've done so many brand deals with him, is he treats it like a business. I know it sounds very cliche, but don't treat it like a side hustle influencer business. Treat it like a legitimate business. So if it was a legitimate business and a prospect, i.e. a brand, reaches out to you, you'll have a policy internally that says you have to get back to them in 24 hours. And I would say go even farther than that. And don't just say I'm offline on the weekends. Show them that you're online on the weekends, especially if it's a quick turn campaign. Show that you're working on the weekends, because I'm working on the weekends. I'm bending over backwards for our brand partners, and they know that. And I'm also able to beat out the much bigger agencies because they don't work weekends, they don't work nights, they don't work holidays, and that's just like what we do to go above and beyond. I'm not saying you have to work overtime, but it shouldn't take 10 days to get back, right? And be a good partner, a good thought partner. Take pride in your work and treat it like a business, not just a side hustle.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little rapid fire.
Let me.
Hi-fi or lo-fi content for LinkedIn?
For me, or what I recommend creators?
Both. AJ first.
I would say for me, it's lo-fi. My whole brand right now is the messy middle of entrepreneurship. So I actually purposely will show the, you know, very messy, shaky selfie type videos because it's very raw and relatable, and I'm building in public. I think in general though, you know, some creators fall on one side or the other. It can be in the middle. But at the end of the day, like, just post consistently and think about what you want your brand to be. We've done both. I think it's more important, like, if that is, like, let's say, okay, really quick, this is rapid fire, but really quickly. If we're sourcing founders as the ICP for a campaign, as long as I know that AJ is more of the lo-fi, messy middle type content, versus John is the hi-fi content, high production, I actually probably want to do both.
Yeah.
But I don't want someone, I guess, in the middle. Like, you should be very clear on what you're doing in terms of
It also
content.
just depends on the creator's content. So
Exactly.
we never hire a lo-fi creator to make a hi-fi content. It would
Yes.
come off as a commercial.
Yes, and my whole brand is like, I'm still a full-time founder, so I
Right.
don't even have time for hi-fi content.
Yeah.
So don't pay me and expect me to do a 3-level or a 3-camera type production set.
Right.
For me, it's like on my phone on a tripod with quick mics, and we're gonna get it done in the same day.
Using AI to write your content.
I don't think that AI slop is the winning formula, but I think everyone should be using AI as a brainstorming partner, should be using AI to make sure, like an example is when we get a script, we have, an internal project where basically we upload the campaign brief, upload the creator's draft to make sure that we're aligning one-to-one. Things like that, I think you should be doing that as well to make sure that you didn't miss any key points. Like if you can also do less back and forth with the brand,
Totally.
it's easier.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that you should start and end with AI, but AI should be your thought
Yeah.
partner. And if you're not using it, I think you're at a disadvantage.
What about AI generated image and video?
AI generated image, I think, is okay for like an overlay in a video. I'm not a fan of AI slop. I'm not a fan of AI generated creators. I think we're going to come to a reckoning where there's going to be so much mistrust in the creator economy that if you remember Sora, if you read Sora from OpenAI, is you have to have a watermark on your videos. I think we're going to get to a place where these platforms will require it because it's getting to the point where it's so scary and so similar looking to a human
Yeah.
that no one can trust anything. But I also think that that's why IRL is so important. So if I'm a creator, I would absolutely focus on the IRL aspect, not just using AI in your content.
Yeah. Okay. And then I also always have a segment called Creator Call-ins where we look on Reddit, we look in the comments of all different kinds of platforms, and somebody wrote in, I have a decent following on Instagram, I'm a lifestyle creator, and I've been told that I should be on LinkedIn too. I have no idea how to translate my personality and content into that world. Where do I start?
I would say just put on a pair of shoes and start running. Or not even running, walking. And everyone wants- metaphorically, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you
Had
could
to
also
clarify.
run. I mean, I posted running content on LinkedIn before,
I've seen
but
it.
I think instead of trying to wait to be perfect, just literally start. And every creator is so different. For instance, you might say video is not doing well on LinkedIn. I just had a video that did 25,000 views yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think it's so case by case to each individual creator and their brand. And then also if you have a following on other channels, it's just very different. So I'd say just start and post and just get enough data to then make those decisions. And you can repurpose some content. I always think LinkedIn specifically should have some career professional tie-in. So knowing that, like maybe it's the lifestyle content, but tied to the career aspect of the lifestyle creator,
Yeah.
for instance.
Yeah.
I think actually Piper Phillips is a great example of this, where and like every channel is so different. It fits a different puzzle
Yeah.
to her brand. So like
For sure.
Instagram, I think for her it's more music and more of the actual brand deal. LinkedIn is more of the business and the financial aspect of the brand deal, and that's worked very well for her.
Yeah, I definitely have given similar advice to creators that are in the lifestyle space. They're like, I want to be on LinkedIn, I want to show off what I do more, and then they just repost what they post on Instagram with, maybe a ChatGPT caption or something, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I really should be seeing an event recap that was posted on Instagram that doesn't explain maybe what the influencer marketing team did so well there. Like, if you did that with the same, different voiceover, same exact video, it would hit. But if you did just the exact same, like, this is my experience, I'm doing a vlog, this is a day in my life. Again, less day in my life as a founder, that would work for LinkedIn. Day in my life as an influencer, actually, maybe could work. But if it's so far out of the professional space, I really don't think there's a world where that's ever going to change on LinkedIn.
And also, it's really important to remember who you're speaking to. So I always give this example. On LinkedIn, you're speaking to professionals wearing a buttoned-up shirt at work on their work laptop with a split screen of LinkedIn versus like Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I call it like the layback platform where like you are horizontal on a couch watching TV, kind of doom scrolling. Same with TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that same piece of content can't work for both, but if you have that kind of POV and that lens, people are going to want to see different things for their different world. And it can actually be the same person in both areas, but when they're on LinkedIn, they're thinking of different content versus when they're on Instagram or TikTok, they're thinking of different content as well. It's like after work content versus during work content. So have that framing as you're going into the content.
I love that. Okay, one last personal question. Well, personal, not personal, what is one thing you're most excited about now? That could be Creator Match and AJ.
So I think right now it's honestly one and the same. Instead of running a lifestyle business, I think built a business around my lifestyle, which is I want to work a ton, I want to build a ton, I want to build with really cool people, I want to build something exciting, and I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
And like we're literally in Miami right now, we're going to France in June for Cannes Lions.
I'll be there.
So I think what I'm really excited about is just what we're building. And it's gotten to the point now where it's, I think, even bigger than just my own personal brand and bringing in people that see the vision and get bought in and are adding things, not just LinkedIn, but now we did more YouTube creator revenue than LinkedIn creator revenue last month.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's insane. And that's just one example. We're also doing a ton of other channels. And then I would say for like AJ personally is I'm in the process of moving. I don't know when this is going to come out yet, so
Later.
I can't.
Like
later.
a month.
Okay.
Maybe less.
So when this comes out, I just moved to Miami as well. So I've been in Austin for 3 years and then just moved to Miami for my next city. And I want to just continue to check out new cities as we're fully remote. And we have unlimited PTO, so people can live anywhere around the world.
So cool. I love that. Is there any last spark notes or words of wisdom you want to give anybody as it pertains to building or being a LinkedIn creator?
I would just say if you're trying to do something, don't worry about what other people think. Build a community of people around you that are also as obsessed and also as crazy. And everyone's gonna call you crazy until you're a genius. And it's a great quote, I think, from Mr. Beast. But at the end of the day, like, LinkedIn's not cool. And I built an entire business around it and helping creators monetize. And it's still not cool. People don't see the opportunity. So you just kind of fight through all that negative noise. And also, you're gonna lose some friends. Like, I've lost a lot of friends that kind of didn't see eye to eye to me, and now my entire friend group are either creators or founders, and we're all building together, going to coffee shops on the weekends, having fun, collaborating, sharing best practices, and I'm just really excited for this year.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun. I could talk to you for hours, which we definitely will do after the podcast recordings today.